Hello, friends. Hope here. Welcome to Gargoyle Chronicles. Come think along with me. We'll play it in real time, and I'll talk you through the logic as we go. Today's episode is No Beer on Tap. It's last call in the Bridge Brawl final, so let's crack on. Peter Holland's team is leading the Kuchung team by 2 imps with 1 board to go. Just to remind ourselves of the format, you have to win the match by at least 7 imps. Otherwise, it's a tie. If it's tied, you play 2 more boards. If it's still tied after that, the team with the most beer cards wins. And if that's tied as well, they score border match. Peter Holland's team has scored the only beer card so far, so they do have a little edge if we wander into a tiebreaker. Not quite a champagne position, but certainly a beer-adjacent one. We'll look at board 10 from Shriram's point of view. Shriram is playing for the Kuchung team. Nobody is vulnerable. LHO passes. Partner opens a nebulous precision diamond. Right-hand opponent overcalls 1 spade. We bid 2 spades, which transfers to 2 no trump and shows at least game invitational values. Now, getting partner to declare no trump isn't really the point here. This bid is mostly just part of a wider structure for dealing with the nebulous diamond. But on this hand, the transfer might actually land quite nicely. With the spade ace, no trump from partner's side could easily be better. Left-hand opponent raises to 3 spades, and it comes back round to us. Now, what's going on? If we double and partner has a stiff spade, he'll pull. But if he's balanced, he'll pass, and we should beat this a couple of tricks. And as we pointed out in an earlier episode, once we expect to go plus 300 on defense, the risk-reward on bidding game changes quite a lot. Bidding game gains only 3 imps if it makes, and loses 8 if it goes down. So we'd rather defend unless we're pretty sure game is making. Sensible, if slightly unglamorous. We'll take sensible. We double, and everyone passes. We have the balance of power, so it's probably best to lead trumps and cut down declarer's ruffs. We lead the 3 of spades. Wow, that is quite the 3-spade bid. If North was mainly trying to make sure he got a spade lead, he might have done a bit better by doubling 2 spades. Let's take a minute to talk about active bidding. The Outback Acolytes have been playing a very active style, and it's produced some genuinely impressive results. There's no doubt that style can be very effective. Even when it doesn't work exactly, it puts constant pressure on the opponents. Problem after problem after problem. Some they'll solve, some they won't. That's the whole point. But when you play actively, context matters. You don't just bid a lot because bidding is fun. You always have to ask, what's my upside? If there's a meaningful upside, then fine. We can argue about whether that upside is worth the risk. But if there's no upside, then what are we doing? On board 5 of this match, Andrew took an action many players would dislike. After a forcing club, a 2-club overcall from partner, and a negative double, he bid 2 spades. Now, whether you agree with that bid or not, it clearly has an upside. It raises the level before LHO has had a chance to describe his hand. And if you catch a spade fit with partner, it may help you find a profitable sacrifice. That is exactly what happened. They found a 4-spade sacrifice that was missed at the other table and gained 11 imps. Lovely. Slightly terrifying, but lovely. On board 8, Andrew opened 4 spades, neither vulnerable, in first seat with this hand. That would be the choice of only a handful of players, most of whom are probably playing online from their padded cell. But again, you can't say there's no potential upside. You've jammed the auction 1 level higher than it will be jammed at the other table, and that absolutely could work in your favor. And it did. Not by force, but it gave the opponents a difficult problem, and they failed to solve it. So Andrew picked up another 11 imps. This 3-spade bid, though, is different. It's hard to see any upside at all. If the opponents are about to play a part score, fine. Let them. At imps, competing for the part score only gains significantly when both your contract and their contract are making. That's unlikely when you're competing at the 3 level with only 8 trumps. And if the opponents are about to bid game, 3 spades is at best pointless, and at worst, dangerous. They can simply ignore you and bid their game, or they can choose to double you instead. This is known as giving the opponents a fielder's choice, an analogy that might make more sense if I had the faintest idea what fielders actually do. If the opponents do decide to double you have two ways to lose. You might go for more than their game, or their game might have been going down. The best case scenario is that you pick up a rather meager 3 imps when you go for 300 against a making game. It's one thing to take a risky action when you might gain 11 imps if things break your way. It's quite another when the upside is practically invisible. Back to the board, Declarer plays the spade jack at trick 1. Partner wins with the queen and returns a spade. That jack at trick 1 is strange. True, on this auction we would have led a spade from any holding, but we did show a spade stopper, so we're likely to have the ace. If Declarer hops with the king, that blocks the suit and may allow him to score a ruff if he has the diamond ace. We take the ace and play a third spade. Partner pitches the 6 of diamonds, upside down attitude. Declarer leads the 4 of diamonds from dummy, and partner plays the deuce, upside down count. So now we know the 6 was discouraging. That means partner can't have the 8 or the 7. If he did, he would signal with that card instead. The deuce shows an even number remaining. So the only holdings consistent with partner's carding are 6-3-2 or 6-5-2. That gives Declarer ace-queen 5th of diamonds and 3 cards in the round suits. And this is a lovely little illustration of why it matters to signal with your loudest card. If we can trust partner not to discourage with the 6 when he has a higher spot available, then we know for a fact he has 3 diamonds headed by the 6. What else do we know about partner's hand? We know from his opening bid that he has at least 9 high card points left. So he must have both round aces, plus either the heart jack or the club queen, and possibly both. Declarer finesses the diamond queen, and we take the king. Now our goal is very simple. Stop Declarer from scoring his 5th diamond. Can we do that? If we have 6 tricks in the round suits, yes. If partner has both minor honors, it's easy. Say this is the layout. We play a heart to partner's jack. He returns a heart, and Declarer ruffs. Declarer plays ace. And another diamond. We tap him with a heart. Now he's out of trump, and we take the rest. Lovely. No drama. But what if Declarer has one of the minor honors? Can we still do anything? The usual technique in these positions is to lead Declarer's singleton. Let's give Declarer a stiff club and jack small of hearts, for example. Leading a heart won't work. Partner wins and shifts to a low club. We win and play another club. Tap in Declarer. He gives us a diamond, and we play another club. Tap in him again. But now we have to concede a trick to dummy's heart queen at the end. Down 4. Shift into Declarer's singleton lets us take another trick. Partner wins and plays another club, tap in Declarer. We win the next diamond and play a third club, tap in him again. When we win the 4th diamond, partner now has a heart entry to cash his club tricks. Down 5. Perhaps if Declarer has the 9 of clubs, he does better by pitching a heart on partner's club return to manufacture a club stopper. Well, not unless he has the heart 10 as well. If he has jack small, pitching a heart lets us cash the heart king, dropping his jack. At that point, we have enough winners for down 5. So if Declarer has a stiff club, we want to shift to clubs. But what if Declarer has a stiff heart and queen doubleton of clubs? Then shift into a club doesn't do the job. Same problem as before. If we shift into Declarer's doubleton, we kill partner's entry. Once we tap Declarer out, we've got no way back to partner's long heart. And in the ending, we're forced to give dummy a club trick. Bit annoying that. But shifting to Declarer's singleton does work. At least, if partner has the club 9. On partner's heart return, Declarer has a charming pair of choices. Ruff and get tapped out. Or pitch a club and let us take 3 club tricks. There is one extra little wrinkle though. What if Declarer has a singleton jack of hearts instead of the club queen? If partner wins the ace and returns a heart, Declarer can pitch a club. We can switch to clubs and tap him twice, but in the ending, we're still left with a heart loser. Unfortunate that. Partner has to see this coming. After winning the heart ace, he must switch to a low club. Win the club return, and only then play a heart. Now declarer has nothing to pitch. He roughs, gets tapped out, and the defense survives. So, there's the whole question. If declarer has a stiff heart, we want to play a heart now. If he has a stiff club, we want to play a club. How do we know which singleton he has? We do have an inference from partner's 6 of diamonds pitch. With 2-3-3-5, partner might have pitched an encouraging club on the 3rd round of spades, rather than a discouraging diamond. With 2-4-3-4 and 3 small diamonds, he would always pitch a diamond, keeping 4 cards in each side suit. That's not 100%. But it's the only clue we've got. So, I'd switch to a low heart. Sriram returns the 9 of diamonds. That doesn't make much sense unless he doesn't trust partner's card in and doesn't believe declarer had 5 diamonds. Declarer wins and returns a diamond, eventually finishing down 4 for 1100, winning the last trick with the beer card. A heart shift would not only have brought in 1400, there also would have been no beer on a tap. Luckily, the beer card doesn't count unless you make your contract. A small mercy for civilization. At the other table, East opened 1 club and South overcalled 1 diamond. I'm not sure I love that. Yes, if partner is on lead, it might work out better. But diamonds don't outrank hearts. And if you have a spade fit, you may well want to find it. In any case, after the 1 diamond overcall, partner wasn't even tempted to get creative. West bid 3 no trump and made 5. That's 10 imps to the Kuchong team. They pulled it out on the last 2 boards to win by 8 imps, 40-32. No tiebreaker required. Congratulations to Captain Chris Chung and teammates Sriram Ganesan, Joanna Stansby, and Lee Chong Chen. And many thanks to Kai Eckert and Isaac Stone for doing a terrific job organising the event. We're looking forward to Bridge Brawl 2027. And that's the board. Next week, we're back to the weekly instant tournaments on BBO. Be sure to play in the event so we can compare. If this helped, give it a like and subscribe so you catch the next episode. And remember, Bridge is the last game standing where humans still outplay the computers. Let's keep the edge sharp. I'm Hope, and this is Gargoyle Chronicles. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.